have been wanting to get Mona on my account for such a long time, and when I finally did, I never built her properly. And today we're gonna change that. I want to spend all of my resources within the upcoming month on building Mona, and this is of course going to be a part of my Perfecting My Account series, which, if you don't know, Perfecting My Account is a series where I pick one character and I focus an entire month on just building them. I try to give them the best weapons, artifacts, max out their talents, give them the best stats that I possibly can, and basically try to make them perfect. I will start off by showing you what Mona looks like. Right now she's 79 out of 80, 48 crit rate, 117 crit damage, 210 energy recharge. She is on a Thrilling Tales R5, which is actually the weapon that I'm probably gonna keep because I do want her to be mostly a buffer and a hydro applier, and she's going to be used in an Ayaka freeze team. She has the 4-piece tenacity, which yet again I think I'm gonna keep for the 4-piece bonus. Ayaka really enjoys that 4-piece bonus. I'm going to show you each piece separately. This is her flower. It's actually not a bad one at all. Feather. Could be improved most probably. It has really good substats, but I feel like it doesn't even look like it's level 20 for some reason. Energy recharge Sands, probably the one that we could improve the most. Hydro damage bonus Goblet, honestly a pretty solid one. It also has a lot of energy recharge, which she really needs. And a crit rate Circlet. This one is admittedly the worst one, but again it does have a lot of energy recharge, and considering that I want to be able to burst every rotation and her burst cost is 60, always that additional energy recharge is welcome. She is C2, and talent wise, you see, I always forget that her talents look like this. Considering that I want her to be mostly a buffer and a support character, I don't really expect her to do big damage. However, we still should try to go to Masanori to test it. I'm going to put Mona in a solo team so that it's easier for us to test everything. Mona is one of those characters that has a really cool placement of the vision. I don't know why, but I always pay attention to where characters have their visions. Her having it at the back of her little cape. She probably could have it as like a little button on the front of the cape as well. I think that would be really cute, though it could potentially be slightly too big to be a button. Let's see. E-skill.
Shadows of Fate.
Wow, 547. Doing great. Oh wait, we did 1054. I think when it pops at the end, it does a bigger number, isn't it? You went so far. See, this is kind of why I don't use Mona that much, because her range of her E-skill is really, really small. 2,200. I believe this is the highest number, so I think we're gonna move on to the burst now.
Decided by destiny.
Does the burst pop? We're gonna run out of time before finding out. He does have Hydro applied onto him. 8,700. That actually might have been the highest number. If that is the case, I believe we've done all of our tests, so we're gonna start with leveling her up. I believe I already defeated Oceanid a few times. Yes, I did. We only need to fight him 2 more to get enough drops, and I also need the energy nectar, but I might be able to just craft it. Let's choose my favorite team. Remember when Oceanid was like a boss that was causing problems? Does anyone remember that? I feel like nowadays when you think of Oceanid, you're like, Oceanid, it's a boss. But back then, when I first started playing, like, Oceanid was a boss that was causing me issues. Especially because I didn't have any catalysts or bow characters that were built enough to reach the birds. Nowadays, the birds are really not an issue for me because Nahida can reach them, Yaimika's turrets can reach them. Hey, Oceanid, we don't have the whole day. Oh, look at this! Now I can reach all the birds with Nahida. And even Kazuha a little bit. See? Did Nahida just wiggle her brows at me? Did you see that?
One who is ignorant of
Huh? Wait, what happened? I turned away my gaze for 1 second because I'm trying to supervise my kitten so that she doesn't bite my cable. This is why they can't be in my office, because now I'm just stressed while trying to work. Okay, I'm gonna take a picture and show you how my kitty is trying to help. We should now have enough boss drops, and we might as well go into the crafting table because we need the gems anyway, and also that nectar from the whopper flowers. And now I only need the whopper nectar. Or energy nectar, sorry, not whopper nectar. 10 bonus ones. Dory, since when are you so kind to me? Ascend to 90. She gets additional energy recharge, which is really good for her. Oh, I also remembered that I need to start farming the talent books because I'm not gonna have enough to bring all of the characters that I'm working on to be fully ascended. We're going to move on to her weapon. Theoretically, if you're using Thrilling Tales, you don't need to level it. However, because I do want to focus on at least getting a tiny bit more damage with Mona, it would be good to level it to just simply have slightly more base attack. It would be really good if I was able to level it to 90 without the need to farm anything, which it kind of looks like it might be the case. Level 80, and I think I need to ascend it one more time. I need 3 gold fangs, which I should be able to craft. Now we can fully ascend it and level it to 90. That on its own is already going to be a huge improvement, just leveling her weapon and also her personal level. But we obviously want to maximize her damage even more, so we're going to move on to talents. My strategy would be to get her E-skill to be level 8 and her burst to be crown. I do have a few books, but it's definitely not enough to really do anything. However, let's try to level it as much as I can at least. Oh, I can level it even more because I have a few gold books. Maybe I'll be able to do it to level 8 then? Yes, I am. So I will only need to farm the talent books to crown her burst. Her talent book domain is open on Friday, which is tomorrow, so I think the strategy would be to condense the leftover resin and use all of it to farm the talent books tomorrow. It's still probably not going to be enough, so I'm going to check in with you tomorrow. As promised, it is Friday and we're in front of the domain, and I'm 100% not going to use this team in it. This is my least favorite domain, and I just don't want to extend my suffering for even longer than it is necessary. I do have Arlecchino. I didn't finish building her, but I feel like she'll be fine. What if we do a team like this? I don't know, it doesn't really matter, it's just a domain. As long as I can defeat all of the cryo slimes and the mages, I'm fine. At least with Zhongli's shield, we're not getting stunned by all of the icicles falling. Maybe let's fly. Maybe if we fly, we're gonna get better drops. We did get a gold one, so maybe that's the case. Maybe you just have to fly to the tree and... I want it to be funny, okay? Leave me alone. This is as far as I can go for now, but if we go to the crafting table and convert all of the books that we got into gold ones, I believe we might be able to do it. So we have 13 plus 8. That is not enough. I think I'm gonna have to use all of the resin. Oh, 3 extra. I think I'm gonna have to use all of the resin that I just condensed and still farm the domain. We can bring it to level 9 and we still need 12 extra gold books. Continuing farming the talent books, and maybe today I'm gonna be able to get enough to crown her burst. Wait, that 86,000 was Shanling, it wasn't Arlecchino? Hopefully that amount that I have is going to be enough to crown her burst today. But if not, then I might spend some fragile resin because, you know, I need to catch up a little bit with my uploads.
Going in.
Did you just see Bennett do 93,000? Granted, I believe there is 75% of pyro damage bonus in this domain, but still, I don't think I've ever seen a bandit do that kind of number before. Xinqiao, please bless me so that we get additional books, and therefore we're gonna actually be able to crown her without the need of spending some fragile resin. Thank you. That is exactly enough. Therefore, Lady Magistus, here is your crown. And I can freely now move on to the artifacts. Let's try to make some improvements here. As for artifacts, as I already said, we're gonna be farming the tenacity of Melolith, which we have done last month, but we're just gonna be doing it again. So I believe that I'm gonna try to show you the most interesting parts of the farming process. But then again, what is really interesting about farming artifacts? Let's be honest here for a second. I also see that I have the parametric transformer. You know what would be nice if we got something like a parametric transformer, but you could put stuff in it to get some artifacts maybe? Got quite a lot of stuff from that. And maybe while I'm here, I can go and collect the ones that are flying around. I always feel like I don't have enough of those. But then again, I do use them every single day to condense resin. Now time to teleport to the domain and start the grind. But I'm probably gonna use a different team because I don't really feel like using Ayaka Freeze. Listen, using Ayaka Freeze team, it's a commitment. You have like a 10-step process of the entire rotation on how to maximize Ayaka damage. And I just don't feel like doing that when I can just plop some skills and then have a chat with you, I suppose. I just realized I didn't condense resin. And what was the point of me farming the crystal flies if I wasn't going to condense the resin? That's disappointing. But we did get 2 artifacts, so not too bad. And a crit damage and attack percentage. I'd say that regarding the substats, we're gonna focus on kind of a sub DPS one. So lots of energy recharge, crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage. EM wouldn't be bad, but then again, I do use Mona only in the freeze team, so I don't think it's really necessary. I will say that considering how repetitive farming artifacts is, I might start cutting out this part completely and just moving into rolling, because the rolling part I feel like is slightly more exciting, but it's also still very repetitive, so I don't know. I have been trying to make the episodes slightly shorter, so for them to be around 20 minutes rather than 25 plus, because I am cutting out so much of the farming. This is a hydro damage bonus goblet unsaid, but I do not like the substats. I believe that this domain, along with the Deepwood Memories, is the one that I have farmed the most for this series. And it's actually probably going to be the last time that I'm gonna be farming it, because I've already hinted at it, but we are slowly coming to an end. I only have a few characters left. Not gonna lie, I'm really excited because I'm just excited to move on to different projects. I feel like this series, the concept of it is really cool, but it's very tedious work and also pretty repetitive. I always say this, but I genuinely don't think that you can binge watch the whole series, because you will at some point hit a wall and be like, am I watching the same episode over and over again? Because that's how it is. You literally do the same exact thing in every single episode. So I do feel like this is more of like a series that you can watch only the episodes that you're interested in, but from the creator's side, so from mine, it doesn't feel like a satisfying project, if I'm being honest with you. I feel like if you would want to do see, why am I getting good pieces on this set? If you would ever want to do a perfecting of your account, my recommendation as a person who has been doing this for 1.5 years already is don't do that for every character. Genuinely pick max like 4 characters that you want to do that for, because that's already going to change your account completely, but you will not burn yourself out in the process. As promised, I decided to not really film myself farming the artifacts, so this is the last condensed resin that I can use. I believe I have gotten a few pretty okay pieces. Specifically, I remember there was one crit rate circlet, which I really need because we have a terrible crit rate circlet right now. And okay, nothing more. So we're just gonna roll. What do people actually recommend? I'm curious about this. Noblesse. Emblem as well. I personally am of the opinion that you can build your characters however you want. And also, I don't think there's such thing that you can only build a character in one specific way. Just build them in a way that works for you and your teams. I remember that this was a pretty good artifact. I wonder if we can get anything better. Why am I constantly getting crit rate, crit damage, and then elemental mastery? This time, truly, I do not need that elemental mastery. What about this? Crit damage, energy recharge. The last had crit rate or attack percentage, but crit rate would be better. Dang it. Let's try out some other pieces. I fear that I do not have any. This one has good substats. I wonder if I can roll an artifact slightly better. Oh, this is a pretty good piece. Lots of energy recharge, but not enough crit rate. We do need slightly more crit rate than what she has right now, I believe. Let's try with this one. Nope. These are the kind of rolls that I usually just cut out from the video because I'm like, what's the point of showing me just being progressively more and more disappointed? I guess we could try to roll this if it rolled a lot into crit rate and energy recharge. It could be something. Ideally, I would want at least 10% crit rate for this piece to be usable. Okay. Don't you just feel like the game just loves crushing your hopes and dreams? Wait, maybe I can take it back. One more crit rate. Okay, fine. I have a feeling I'm not gonna be able to get anything better than this. Maybe Sans? What an interesting piece. I don't think I've ever had 22% attack. It is slightly worse than the piece that I have right now, but it does have a little bit of crit rate, so it's an option. What else is there even? Do I have anything? This one has already a little bit of crit rate, so maybe crit damage? But I mean, it's not gonna be worse than the one that I have. What if we just give it a chance? Maybe miraculously it's going to roll into that crit rate. Come on, I need to switch at least like 2 pieces. Why are you doing that to me? I should probably not even roll this anymore, but here I am. Not gonna say anything. Just pretend I didn't see. Wait, that is actually a better artifact than the one that we had before. Look at this. Yeah, it does have the elemental mastery, but again, I don't think I'm gonna be using it at all. And this one has more crit rate, and I really need that crit rate. I know it's not a good choice, but it is a choice. The crit rate circlet. Oh man. I know I have something that's not it. Crit rate, energy recharge, and crit damage. If the last stat was attack percentage, that would be just chef's kiss, but of course it is not going to be. However, I do believe in the power of sacrifice. I think sacrifice is the way after all. The last one, of course, had to be death percentage, but it doesn't matter because it rolled quite a lot into crit damage and we got 1 energy recharge roll. Let's check out her stats right now. 59, almost 60% crit rate. That's really good. Crit damage, I feel like almost didn't change at all. I have a feeling it was very similar to this. Same with energy recharge. That means that we have actually made an improvement in her stats. So I believe the last thing I must do is test her solo damage after all of the improvements. Let's try her E-skill, and we have to wait until it pops from what I remember. Oh, but we're already doing much more damage. 4,300. I have a memory of it being around 2,000, so that's almost 2 times more damage, I think. Yes, 4,300 is the highest number. I wonder about the burst now.
Written in the stars.
Come on, Masanori. Oh, that was not a crit. Okay, give me a second. I need to get some particles. Kind of interesting because I didn't notice it before. However, her E-skill only gives particles at the end when that bubble pops. Guess you learn something new every day. Here we are again.
Decided by destiny.
21,000. Now, finally, I feel like Mona is doing some damage because before then, I genuinely just used her as the Hydro application. She was not doing any damage on her own. That is actually really lovely to see. It makes me quite happy. I feel like Mona is just a perfect example of a perfectly my account character where she was technically raised up a little bit before, but I didn't put enough of attention to her and therefore I wasn't using her to max of her potential. But now I feel like I'm gonna be able to use her and be way more happy with her damage.